Within the history of boxing, it's normal for there to be fights that remain etched in history and in the memories of fans. The bout between Juan Diaz and El Dinamito Juan Manuel Marquez is one of those. Here, we tell you all the details of a confrontation that, at first glance, seemed unbalanced but turned out to be a clash of giants. Marquez, at 35 years old, was already considered a veteran.
I get the hunch that Marquez is going to need to stay off the ropes, Emmanuel.
On the other hand, Juan Diaz was a decade younger. Many thought Marquez's age would be a determining factor in his performance, but those who truly knew him understood he wasn't an ordinary fighter. Marquez had proven himself to be a warrior who fought with heart, his determination defying the limits of age. He wasn't a man who would retire without putting up a good fight first, and he was about to prove that to the skeptics. On the other hand, Diaz had also shown himself to be a worthy opponent. Baby Bull was the nickname given to this former American professional boxer, whose career had excelled in the lightweight category. His boxing career began at 16, and it didn't take long for him to prove himself as a formidable contender. A series of impressive victories allowed him to rise through the ranks. At the time of his fight against Marquez, he was only 25 years old and at the peak of his career. Marquez stepped into the ring seeing the fight as an opportunity to prove he could still compete at such a high level and send a message that he wasn't ready to be surpassed by the younger generation. He knew that by proving it against Diaz, it would be one of those encounters that would go down in history. And so it was. From the moment the first bell rang, it was clear to everyone present that neither Juan Diaz nor Marquez would follow the customary feeling out round. It didn't start with cautious dances or observation tactics. Right from the start, both men launched into battle, displaying an unyielding ferocity and determination. Even in the early stages of the match, you could see these two titans throwing punches with unrestrained intensity. Blows flew, bodies moved, and spectators could feel the electricity in the air.
Aggression. Diaz showing respect, but ripping Marquez with another left hook. 3 body shots from Marquez. Diaz goes in with the right hand. This is going to be a hellacious war.
Both Diaz and Marquez's hooks resounded in the ring. Each impact testified to the power and skill that had brought them to that moment. There was no fear of delivering or receiving punches. Neither seemed afraid of a knockout. On the contrary, the determination to defeat their respective opponents was evident. As the fight progressed, it seemed that Diaz's youth was starting to tilt the balance in his favor. His endurance was attributed not only to the vitality of his age, but also to not having been subjected to battles as tough as his opponents. This, combined with his skill, seemed to give him a slight advantage over Marquez.
And by the way, with the sole exception of his one loss in the Campbell,
each blow he landed and every move he made seemed infused with that youthful energy that refused to yield. Despite his age, Marquez demonstrated a great example of resilience. In fact, many claimed it's what you'd expect from a much younger fighter. He had the capacity not only to withstand blows, but also to keep going when most fighters his age would have given up. No matter how many punches from Diaz he was taking, he always found a way to recover from the impact and continue.
big left hook, shatters Marquez. Marquez in trouble and trying to fight his way out of it.
More effect than it would have had, except because he had him back and back. And he's maximizing his weight on every punch by lunging forward as he punches.
Happy box numbers in the second round. Marquez 34 out of 94. Diaz 30 out of 98. So
Marquez suddenly knew the moment had come to end the battle. That's why he did what was necessary to break through Diaz's guard with a series of rapid jabs before launching his masterful blow. Thus, in a display of skill and determination that can only be described as impressive, Marquez managed to connect a devastating uppercut directly to Diaz's chin. The blow represented not only a solid physical impact, but also a complete disconnection. Marquez, with tremendous force, managed to unplug all of Diaz's cables, sending him into a deep sleep right in the middle of the ring.
Experience fighting at this pace over the course of the fight.
And he's 10 years younger. And he's fighting in his hometown. And he's supposedly the stronger man.
And he's hurt.
A huge uppercut.
Diaz's body resembled a puppet with its strings cut as he fell to the canvas. It was evident that his consciousness had been switched off by the brutal blow. Marquez had not only won the fight with that powerful uppercut, but had also demonstrated that age and circumstances were not limitations for him.
Yeah, but what amazed me was the precision and the accuracy of the punches from Marquez. He didn't miss too many punches, and he was punching from all experienced fighter.
A straight right hand, and then the uppercut produced that first knockdown. The second knockdown is really almost a formality on a brilliant right up.
He's a fighter who throws a lot of punches, Marquez said as he left the ring. In the fourth and fifth rounds, he was hitting the body. And then, the knockout came. Although Diaz had managed to cut Marquez's face in the fifth round, and many people thought his end was approaching, what they didn't anticipate was that Marquez was already shifting the course of the fight with his strategy. The effort for victory became much more apparent from the eighth round onwards, where Marquez began working from the center of the ring. That was the moment he caused the cut above Diaz's eye. Diaz, on his part, said that after that cut, he couldn't do anything about it. With blood entering his eye, he claimed he couldn't see the punches Marquez was throwing at him. After a great display, it was clear how the rivalry and aggression ended in the ring. In the world of boxing, it's normal for veteran fighters to face younger and rising fighters. This practice is known as passing the torch. In this, the veteran, with their prestige and reputation, faces the new talent to give them the opportunity to gain fame and recognition. It's a tactic often used by boxing promoters to build the career of a new prospect. But Marquez, instead of seeing himself as a potential victim of this dynamic, saw it as the perfect opportunity to prove that his time was still now. Do you think Diaz ever had a chance? When did he lose that slight advantage he seemed to have gained? Leave us your opinion in the comments.